Over the years, while working with ambitious individuals from software engineers in Silicon Valley to researchers in Boston, I have noticed a repeating, almost haunting pattern. People are coming to me frustrated because they are eating what they think is a clean diet. They hit the gym and they are in the prime of their lives, yet their blood reports show a profound internal deficiency. In fact, the reality in America is staggering. Recent data shows that nearly 42% of U.S. adults are clinically deficient in vitamin D, with that number skyrocketing among young professionals who spend their daylight hours in front of screens. Similarly, more than half of our population shows critically low vitamin B12 levels, a crisis that is hitting the active plant-forward generation the hardest. Clearly, this is not a health issue reserved for the elderly. It is a silent, widespread imbalance that is quietly eroding the productivity and vitality of the younger generation. Today, I'm going to talk to you in great detail about vitamin D and about vitamin B12. But more importantly, I am going to explain exactly how we can restore these levels naturally through your high-paced lifestyle and your diet. You see, these deficiencies do not announce themselves with a sudden collapse. They are masters of disguise. A vitamin D deficiency usually begins as a subtle decline. It starts as nagging lower back tension after a long day at the desk or a slight clicking in your knees during your morning run. When your levels are low, you manifest muscle weakness, frequent office colds, or a persistent, unexplained low mood that many young people mistake for simple burnout. Modern science tells us exactly why this happens. Vitamin D receptors are not just limited to your skeletal structure. They exist in your prefrontal cortex, your heart, and throughout your immune cells. When these receptors are empty, your cognitive and physical systems begin to lag. Meanwhile, a vitamin B12 deficiency quietly and systematically affects your nervous system. You might start feeling a strange buzzing or tingling in your hands, a sense of brain fog where you lose your train of thought, or a constant heaviness in the head during afternoon meetings. Many high achievers become irritable and dismiss these signs as just the cost of doing business or a lack of sleep. But very often the truth is that your nerves are simply undernourished at a cellular level. And here lies the real concern that I see every single day. Most people treat the lab report, but they do not treat the reason. They see a low number and order a generic supplement online, but they never ask why their body stopped absorbing these nutrients in the first place. Now let us move towards solutions that are simple, natural, and practical for a busy life. First, let us talk specifically about vitamin D. From a scientific point of view, vitamin D is actually a potent prohormone. Vitamin D is the essential key that helps your body absorb calcium from your diet. Without it, you could drink all the fortified shakes in the world, and your bones and teeth would remain vulnerable. It supports muscle fiber recruitment for your workouts. It significantly improves your innate immunity, and it plays a critical role in regulating neurotransmitters like serotonin. From a yogic and Ayurvedic point of view, vitamin D nourishes the dhatu. This is the tissue responsible for your core structure. It is what gives you physical stability, an upright posture at your desk, and a sense of structural confidence. When your dhatu is weak, you feel physically and mentally unsupported by your own body. So how do we support it naturally without slowing down? Firstly, and most importantly, we must return to the source sunlight. But you must understand the biological window. The ideal time for your skin to synthesize vitamin D is during the morning hours, typically between 8 and 11 a.m. During these hours, the angle of the sun allows the beneficial UVB rays to reach you without the harsher, damaging radiation of the mid-afternoon. About 10 to 20 minutes of direct sun exposure on the arms, legs, or back is sufficient for most young adults. I cannot emphasize this enough. Sunlight through the glass of your office or car window does not work. Modern American building glass filters out the very wavelengths your body needs to create this hormone. For this short therapeutic exposure, sunscreen is unnecessary as it blocks the synthesis process entirely. If you can take your morning call outside in the sun, or even better, walk barefoot on the grass in a local park, the absorption improves further through the process of grounding. This simple habit resets your circadian rhythm and your biology. Along with sunlight, food plays a vital supporting role. Healthy fats like clarified butter, Organic sesame seeds, soaked almonds, and high-quality probiotic yogurt provide the lipids and minerals that help your body transport and utilize vitamin D more effectively throughout your system. But we must understand one thing clearly. Food supports vitamin D, but only sunlight activates it. Without that UVB trigger, your body cannot turn on the vitamin D you consume. Now let us turn our deep attention to vitamin B12. For a young professional, this is the ultimate nutrient for mental clarity and red blood cell formation. B12 is the fuel for your internal wiring. In the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda, this nutrient supports the Majadhatu, which governs the nervous system and the marrow. However, there is a fundamental point you must understand if you want to fix your energy levels. Vitamin B12 absorption depends far more on the quality of your digestion than on the quantity you consume. This is the exact reason why many people eat meat or take B-complex shots, and yet they find their energy remains low. In my practice, I have seen that when the digestive fire or agony is weak, often due to stress, these essential nutrients simply pass through your system. You are essentially starving in the middle of plenty. Your gut must be healthy enough to produce intrinsic factor, the biological vehicle that carries B12 into your bloodstream. If your stomach acid is weak, which is common if you rely on coffee to get through the day, or if your gut is inflamed from processed grab-and-go meals, that vehicle never arrives at its destination. Among natural dietary sources for the modern professional, organic probiotic yogurt is a game-changer. I recommend about one small bowl taken during the daytime, preferably at lunch. This supports your gut microbiome and improves the environment for B12 absorption, but you must follow the rules of nature. Your yogurt should always be fresh, plain, and at room temperature. If you grab a cold yogurt cup late at night or eat it straight from the fridge while working late, it becomes heavy and mucus-forming. In this state, it actually dampens your digestive fire and blocks the very channels we are trying to clear. This is about working with your body's clock. If you find yogurt too heavy, traditional kefir or a light buttermilk drink is even more supportive for your nervous system. One simple preparation I recommend is a digestive probiotic tonic. Take a few spoonfuls of organic yogurt and whisk it with water until it is thin. Add a pinch of roasted cumin powder and a touch of sea salt. You can even add a little grated ginger for an extra metabolic boost. Take this liquid along with your lunch to fire up your enzymes. When your digestion is strong, your vitamin B12 absorption improves automatically because you have created the right environment. This is far more effective than just swallowing a pill on an empty stomach. Fresh farmer's cheese or paneer is another source that can be taken in moderate amounts. I suggest about 2 to 3 ounces at lunch a few times a week. It should be lightly cooked with mild spices, not heavy or deep fried. Again, do not take it late at night after a workout. Late night protein burdens the liver when it should be detoxing, reducing the benefits to zero. We must also talk about the power of fermented foods, which are the biohacks of the traditional world. Preparations like beet kvass, sauerkraut juice, or rejuvelax are miraculous for B12. They support the healthy gut bacteria, which are essentially the workers that help process and manufacture these vitamins. Having just a small amount of these fermented liquids in the late morning is enough to change your internal chemistry. These foods work steadily to strengthen your digestion over time until it becomes a self-sustaining system. Some seeds and spices, although not a direct source of B12, are incredibly helpful catalysts for your focus and nerve health. For instance, a teaspoon of roasted sesame seeds with your lunch provides the minerals needed for high-speed nerve signaling. Similarly, a small amount of roasted cumin powder added to your food improves enzyme secretion and prevents that afternoon bloating that often indicates your nutrients aren't being assimilated properly. This is the foundation of high-performance nutrition. I want to remind you that vitamin B12 supportive foods should always be taken during the daytime when your metabolic rate is peaking. This is where the wisdom of yoga makes a tangible difference for a busy professional. I tell my clients to sit in a kneeling position or Vajrasana for just 5 minutes after their lunch. This posture redirects blood flow from your legs to your digestive core, assisting in the assimilation of these complex vitamins. Additionally, gentle spinal twists are vital if you sit at a desk. Your nerves live in your spine. By keeping the spine supple, you ensure that the nerve pathways are open to receive the B12 nourishment you are consuming. Now, let us look at what you should avoid because stopping the drain is just as important as filling the tank. You must avoid taking high-dose synthetic multivitamins without checking your specific needs. These can often be hard on the liver. More importantly, avoid the indoor trap. Most young Americans spend 90% of their time inside, which is a total biological mismatch for our species. Excess consumption of caffeine, energy drinks, and social alcohol directly interferes with your gut's ability to absorb B12. They act as absorption thieves. Furthermore, the late-night hustle eating habit is one of the biggest enemies of nutrient absorption. Your body cannot digest and repair simultaneously. When you eat late, your body creates weak digestion and chronic stress, which directly blocks the pathway of these vitamins into your blood. Chronic stress, in particular, puts you in a fight or flight state. In this state, your body considers digestion a low priority, and your absorption of B12 drops to almost nothing. So, I invite you to make a change starting today. Step out into the sunlight during your morning break. Respect your digestion by eating when your fire is strongest and choosing foods that support your internal chemistry. Live in rhythm with the day and trust the incredible wisdom that resides within your body. This is true yogic well-being for the modern age. To truly understand why this deficiency is so widespread among young people in the West, we have to look at our modern environment. We have effectively built a world that is vitamin D resistant. We travel in covered cars, work in offices with tinted glass, and spend our evenings under blue light. This disconnect from the natural solar cycle is the primary driver of the brain fog and low energy that I see in nearly every young patient. When you are deficient in vitamin D, your body is essentially in a state of biological winter. It tries to conserve energy, your metabolism slows down, and your recovery from exercise suffers because the growth signal is missing. Many young people tell me they hit the gym at 6 a.m. While that is great for your discipline, it is often too early for vitamin D synthesis. Conversely, if you only get outside at noon, the sun can be too harsh. That morning window is the sweet spot where the atmosphere acts as a perfect filter. When you combine this with the act of walking barefoot, what we call a sunbath, you are engaging in a multi-level healing process. The soles of your feet have nerve endings that, when stimulated by the earth, help regulate your nervous system, making your body more receptive to the vitamin D produced in your skin during that time. When we talk about supporting foods like healthy fats and almonds, people often ask about their macros or cholesterol. But you must understand that vitamin D is literally synthesized from cholesterol. If you completely strip your diet of healthy fats in a quest for leanness, you are removing the raw materials your body needs to manufacture this essential hormone. A small amount of quality healthy fat is a biological necessity for your hormonal health. It lubricates your joints and provides the fatty acid chain that carries vitamin D into your deeper tissues. This is how we nourish the body at a cellular level, ensuring you stay resilient and strong through your most productive years. Moving back to the nervous system and B12, we must address the hidden signs of deficiency in the workplace. Many young professionals come to me complaining of brain fog. They feel they can't focus on deep work, or they feel a sense of heaviness that makes them reach for a third cup of coffee. But caffeine is a diuretic that can further deplete your B vitamin stores. The brain fog is often your nervous system crying out for B12 to repair the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerves. Think of your nerves like high-speed fiber optic cables. If the insulation is worn out, the signal leaks. This causes irritability and burnout feelings. This signal leakage is what causes the tingling and the short fuse that many people mistake for just having a stressful job. The reason I am so passionate about digestive probiotic tonics is that they address the root cause, the intrinsic factor in your stomach. By adding ginger and cumin, you are stimulating the cells responsible for both stomach acid and that transport protein. In a high-stress lifestyle, these cells often become less efficient. By using these traditional spices, we are essentially coaching your stomach to do its job again. This is why I always tell my younger patients, do not just treat the blood report, treat the biological reason behind it. Let's look at fermented foods again. Many people in our modern cities have moved away from traditional fermentation because we've become obsessed with sanitizing everything, but we are more bacteria than we are human cells. Fermented liquids like beet kvass or rejuvelas are rich in the natural probiotics your gut evolved to use. These bacteria live in the final section of your small intestine, which is exactly where vitamin B12 is absorbed. If your gut is populated by bad bacteria from a diet of processed snacks and soda, the B12 has nowhere to land. By drinking a small amount of a fermented tonic, you are clearing the path for absorption. This is a slow process, especially if you've been running on empty for years. You cannot fix a long-term deficiency in a weekend, but if you are consistent, if you practice mindful posture after lunch, if you choose organic, probiotic yogurt over sugary protein bars, and if you seek the sun every morning, you will see a total transformation in your energy. You will notice that the buzzing in your hands fades and your focus returns. You will find that you wake up feeling refreshed rather than needing an hour to boot up. It is about creating a habit of high-performance health rather than a habit of over-medicating. I want to speak directly to those following a plant-based or vegan lifestyle in their 20s and 30s. There is a common myth that you can't get B12 naturally. While it is true that B12 is higher in animal sources, we can maintain health through fermented foods and healthy gut bacteria. The problem today is that our produce is too clean. It is washed with chemicals that kill the natural B12-producing bacteria. This is why we must intentionally bring fermentation back into our modern kitchens. Traditional fermented liquids are a potent source used for centuries to maintain nerve strength. It is time we reclaim this wisdom to support our modern high-tech lives. Now let's discuss the avoid list for the high achiever. Many of you are living under chronic micro-stress, checking notifications while you eat, or answering emails during your lunch break. This keeps your body in the sympathetic nervous system state. In this state, your blood is redirected away from your stomach and toward your brain and limbs. Your digestive fire goes cold. If you eat a healthy B12-rich lunch while you are multitasking, you are wasting that nutrition. This is why the practice of peace before meals is so critical. Take 3 deep breaths before your first bite to tell your brain it is safe to digest. Also, be wary of the acid blocker habit. Millions of young Americans take antacids or purple pills for reflux caused by stress and coffee. These pills work by shutting down your stomach acid, but you absolutely need that acid to break B12 away from the protein in your food. If you take these pills long-term, you are almost guaranteeing a B12 deficiency and the brain fog that comes with it. Instead of just suppressing the acid, we should be asking why the reflux is there. Usually it's a sign of poor food timing or high cortisol. By addressing the root cause, you can stop the pills and start absorbing your nutrients properly. Finally, consider the rhythm of your life. Vitamin B12 is about energy and cognitive activity, which is why it should be supported during your working hours. Vitamin D is the sunshine hormone, which is why it should be triggered when you first start your day. At night, your body needs to move into a repair phase. Eating heavy late-night meals after 900 p.m. disrupts this repair and creates metabolic waste that clogs your system. This prevents the nutrients you absorb during the day from reaching your brain and your bones. Success in health is found in doing the right thing at the right time every single day. In summary, I want you to see your health as a high-performance landscape. You need the sun for the light, the digestive fire for the heat, and fermented foods for the fertile soil of your gut. And you need movement to keep the energy flowing through your nerves. This is the holistic way, the scientific way, and the way of Dr. Robert Harrison. Step out into the light. Respect the fire in your stomach. Move with intention, and trust the innate wisdom that resides within your cells to return you to peak performance. I am Dr. Robert Harrison.